Well, good morning, everybody. A very exciting day for literally hundreds of thousands of students and families right across New South Wales as we start our return to school. So obviously kindergarten, year 1 and year 12 students are back from today. Lots of happy smiling faces right across Sydney. We've seen it here at Randwick Public School. The kids are excited to be back. The teachers are excited to be back. And I know the parents are very relieved that learning from home has come to an end. Can I also just give a shout out to all of the people in education and health who've worked really closely to make sure we've got this school return underway. Our teachers, the rate that they have been vaccinated is just extraordinary. Our data now tells us more than 100,000 school staff have been vaccinated. We're sitting at about a 90% vaccination rate for our school and admin staff, which is great considering our deadline is still a few weeks away. I also want to give a shout out to our assets management teams. These are the guys who come in and help when we have natural disasters, bushfires, floods. They're the ones who've been doing our audit for ventilation, fixing windows, making sure everything is ready for our students to be back this week as well. And also, of course, to our teachers. The learning from home that they've done over the last term has just been extraordinary. The way that they've adapted, been flexible and really made sure they had that strong delivery of education. I think everybody across the state knows that we owe our teachers a lot of gratitude for everything that they've done. But now obviously we're back and it's exciting to be back in the classroom and having students return. I also want to say thank you to the Premier and the Treasurer for this funding to continue our COVID tuition program. So much evidence and research shows that small group tuition, particularly in literacy and numeracy, makes a really big difference helping children catch up who might have fallen a bit behind during that learning from home period. So it's an extra $50 million as part of that program. This year we've had about $330 million. Next year it will be $380 million available for our school communities. So all of our public schools will be eligible to have this tuition program running, and a number of our Catholic and independent schools, particularly in areas where there's greatest disadvantage, will also be eligible for the funding. We'll have a real focus on southwestern and western Sydney as well. Of course, given that those school communities particularly have been some of the hardest hit during the pandemic, we want to make sure that we help those students catch up in those key areas of literacy and numeracy. It's great because, as the Premier said, it also means we've got about 7,500 extra staff on our school sites. So casual teachers are getting that work, retired teachers, final year university students, and also some of our student learning and support officers as well. As I've met with principals and teachers throughout the pandemic, all of them have been saying to me, this program is fantastic, can we please continue it? So really delighted today to be able to announce that we will. It's going to be very important to help our students catch up and get back on track after what has been a really challenging school year.
Thanks, Minister. Today is a really exciting day as our kindies, year 1s and year 12s return to the classroom. That's 180,000 students that will get back to learning, face-to-face learning. So it's a great opportunity for us to give a shout out to all the homeschool heroes, the mums and dads out there that have helped get our kids through this very difficult period and ensuring they get an education at home. But we know that, like me, parents that were homeschooling, they weren't always educators. So we want to make sure that no kid is left behind. That's why we're investing $383 million in a COVID intensive learning program to ensure that any gaps that occurred are filled and that we employ teachers while doing so. We're going to employ 7,500 educators and teachers to make sure we plug any learning gaps that occurred because of homeschooling during the past period. We want to make sure that no kid is left behind, that they're able to continue seamlessly on their education journey. But by investing in our teachers and educators, we can create employment, drive our economy and ensure that no kid is left behind. That's what today's announcement is about as we continue our journey to getting our economy roaring and getting life back to normal as soon as possible.